Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm great. It's Friday.
It is. I always like Fridays. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It just seems like every Friday is better than any Monday. It's just kind of the way it works. Coming up later in the program, we have ja-jance, new book ja-jance put out called Downfall. You just read this.
I just read it.
Was it good?
Excellent.
Yeah, they send me all these books. I never have time to read them.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not into
you're
that
not
kind
a
of
fiction
thing.
reader. I am. I absolutely loved it. I read it in like a day and a half.
Oh,
yes,
right.
it was very, very, very good.
Coming up, we'll be chatting
so
about
please let her know I'm a fan.
I'll tell her. All right. I won't do that on the air and get all like gushy. I'm not going to do that. Hey, you know what the word Lego means or where it came from?
No.
Lego is actually Lego in Danish, Leggodt, which means play well. Lego. Play well. And they just spell it Lego, Lego. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that, but now I do, and now you do too. Want some more fun stuff? We'll have a ton of it coming your way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, September the 23rd. Today is Checkers Day. You know who Checkers is?
I know what checkers are.
Now, Checkers is also known as Dogs in Politics Day. Checkers is a famous dog. It was Franklin Roosevelt's dog, Checkers.
Are you sure that's the day they're talking about and not checkers, the game?
Both. You can go play checkers, too.
Okay.
It's also Energize Day, starting with an I. What does energize mean?
I have no idea.
Gonna have to energize myself, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's a bad thing.
I was going to say, you might want to find out what that means before you say that.
Love Note Day today. Should I write you some love notes?
Nah, it's all right.
It's been a while since I've written you a love note.
Years.
I used to write you love notes all the time.
You did, yeah.
Have to do that again. Today would be a good day to do it. And today is Restless Leg Awareness Day. And let me say this. If you happen to have restless leg syndrome, you were very aware of it. You don't need a day to be aware.
It's awful.
It is. It's terrible. I
haven't had that for a long time, but when I get it, it's miserable.
Yeah, I quite often will be like kicking my legs around and it drives people nuts. I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't handle this. It's just the way it works. Coming up, we got some special things to share. It's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. A retired woman in Britain decided that instead of spending the remainder of her days in a retirement home, she thought, I'm going to do a little traveling, and she came up with a great plan. I've actually heard of this before, but this lady, talk about a great idea. Instead of staying at hotels, she's actually staying on a luxury cruise ship, and she's going from ship to ship. Why? Because, according to her, it's about the same as going to a retirement home as far as the price. Beatrice Mueller, who's 82, pays about 55% of her cabin's full price because of her loyalty and bonuses that she gets from 5 previous world cruises. She pays about $4,800 per month for her cabin. She said it would cost more than that to stay in a retirement home. So, which would you choose? Which would you choose, Heidi?
$4,800 a month to be in a retirement home? That can't be accurate.
Why? How much do you think it would be? Do you think it'd be more than that or less than that?
In a retirement home? Like not a nursing home, a retirement home where they don't really have to do a whole lot?
Well, I don't know. Well, she says while her peers are stuck in Britain's muggy weather, and this is in England, so who knows what the prices are for things there. Beatrice travels the high seas, stopping at sunny destinations, playing bridge, dancing with handsome stewards. She says, this is where I live and I love it. She said, I don't even have to do any shopping. I don't need a car. There's no gas or phone bills. She said, I would pay about the same amount to stay in an old people's home, her words, not mine, and it wouldn't be nearly as much fun as it is here. So I think she's onto something. That sounds like a fun idea.
If she's accurate, I just don't know how accurate it could be that's the cheaper way to go. And then if she has no phone, how does her family visit with her? How does her family know she wasn't beaten up and thrown overboard?
Maybe she doesn't want to talk to her family.
This could be. I don't know, but I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I thought it was kind of a cool thing. And it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A grocery store camera caught a woman putting a 24-pack case of beer between her thighs and then pulling her dress back down and shuffling out of the store.
Holy cow. Those are heavy.
Took a little while to identify her. The woman did not deny anything when she was arrested. Captain David McDavid, that'd be kind of a fun name to grow up with, of Zachary Police Department said she wanted to demonstrate it. He said, I told her no, that wasn't necessary. Then they weighed the case. It weighed 20 pounds. That's how much that weighs.
That's insane. Those are heavy.
She stuffed it up her dress, held her legs together, and then shuffled out the door with a 24-pack case of beer. So there you go.
Huh.
You're over there thinking right now. You're thinking, I wonder if I could do that.
I wonder if I could do that. I need to, not that I would steal it, but I wonder if I could do that. Wonder if I've got the thigh strength.
We're gonna have a little demonstration in the kitchen later, I have a feeling. All right. Thanks for listening. Kids, this is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. If you get your driver's license suspended, Heidi, when does it become suspended? When? Like right then and right there? Yeah, instantly. Well, that's not what one person thought. They were charged with, they got a suspended license and charged with driving on a suspended license in the same day because Greene County Sheriff officer stopped 27-year-old Billy Ray Matthews on a note attached to the arrest warrant. It stated that he was driving on a suspended license because he knew a judge had suspended the license the day before, but he had stopped on September 4th for a registration violation and was driving the same car with the same license plate when he spotted him Wednesday night. He's going back to court now. So that's confusing to me. So he had a note from the judge on a note attached to the warrant. I have no clue. All I know is if you get your license suspended, it is suspended now. It's not like, okay, we just go into effect in like 2 weeks or what do I have? Like 48 hours to keep driving?
Right.
No. I might have ruined the story in my awful reading of it, but either way, fun stuff. Your scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. The trial for Hubert Zafke, a 95-year-old former Nazi medic at Auschwitz concentration camp, opened about a week ago. And it's been delayed multiple times because of his health. He's 95. Now listen to his charges. He's charged with 3,681 counts of accessory to murder.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
He witnessed prisoners being sent to their deaths at Auschwitz. The charges center on a 1-month period. So that many people in 1 month back in 1944 involving the deaths of Jewish people who arrived in 14 train transports, including Anne Frank and her family. How sad is that? But finally, some justice after all these years. Now, I put a link to this next story online because I know there are people listening that probably want to get all the details on this. Walmart is working on a new plan to make us a little plumper and a little happier, Heidi.
Okay.
This is a good story, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. We talked about it earlier.
Her. Plano, Texas is where they're starting this. Walmart has announced they're opening a new thing called State Fair Treats, serving classic fair foods like corn dogs and funnel cakes. They're also going to have other inventive creations like funnel cake fries, deep fried bacon, hash browns, and cookie fries. The Plano location opened this week on the 20th, so that was like Tuesday. And there's a couple more in Texas that are opening, and then nationwide soon. So If you want all the details, I've got them on
I think
our
that's a
Facebook
great.
page.
I love fair food.
There's
love it.
Some of it's really good. Some of it's, not so good. But overall, pretty good stuff. Hey, the more Americans engage in one of their favorite pastimes, just sitting around and doing nothing, the shorter their average lifespan, according to a new study. The effects remained even after researchers factored out obesity or the level of daily physical activity. So they're saying even if you're fit or if you're fat, either way still applies to you, according to the study of more than 120,000 American adults. So don't just sit around and do nothing. Be active. Medical research indicates that people who drink daily are more likely than teetotalers to survive a heart attack and less likely to develop heart failure. So people who have a drink, at least one drink a day, are more likely to survive a heart attack. Good news for Heidi.
That's very good news for me.
She's like, what if I just save up 3 or 4 days and then have one heck of a weekend? Teen drivers often understand that shooting a quick text message or playing with their radio or eating while driving is dangerous. However, the overwhelming majority of teen drivers engage in distracted driving behaviors anyway. According to a new study from AAA and 17 magazine, almost 9 in 10 teenage drivers have driven while distracted, even though 84% of them know that it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So you know it's dangerous. Don't do it. Come on, kids.
I bet if they did that same study amongst adults, though, they'd get the same response.
It is less. There's fewer. This is the category that does it the most. And I'm not saying anybody should do it. It's bad. Hey, you ever see a picture of a manatee?
Yeah.
They're not exactly what you'd call adorable, are they?
Yeah, I know what a manatee is.
A study suggests that manatees can hear 10 times better than humans can underwater. So there you go.
There you go.
Now that you know that.
I don't know why you would need to know that.
Just wanted to let you know. And our final story. Police in southern Idaho are looking for someone trying to pass phony $1 million bills. Officers in Twin Falls.
Who's going to accept $1 million bill?
Apparently this counterfeiter has high hopes. Officers in Twin Falls, Idaho, say counterfeiters are high quality except for one big problem. The U.S. Treasury has never issued a $1 million bill. The largest denomination ever produced was a $100,000 gold certificate issued in the mid-30s. It was never released for general circulation. So if you have somebody try to offer you a $1 million bill, it's not real. There you go. I'll bet you $1 million that it's not real.
Oh, man.
All right. Coming up, we've got a great guest. We've got ja-jance talking about her new book. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us today. ja-jance is a New York Times bestselling author of the J.P. Beaumont series, the Joanna Brady series, the Allie Reynolds series, and 5 interlaced thrillers about the Walker family. And we've got ja-jance on the phone now to talk about her new book, Downfall. ja-jance, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for joining us on the program. Now let's talk about the book Downfall. How long have you been working on this particular book?
Well, probably about a year. It takes about 6 months to write a book and another 6 months for the book to come through the editorial and production process. So it's about a year.
This is the next in the series with the Cochise County Sheriff Joanna Brady. Now, if I haven't read any of the other books in that series, should I read those first, or could I just pick up right here?
When I write a book, I'm always aware that I'll be meeting people who've never read my books before. So writing a book is walking a tightrope because I need to include enough information about all of the characters, new characters, book-specific characters, and ongoing characters so that everybody will be comfortable. But I have to do that in a way that gives new readers enough information to feel at home without boring old readers to death. So there's a very fine line. But my hope is that when I meet a new reader, I won't include so much of the background that they will have no reason to to go back and read the other books. I want them to read all of them.
Definitely.
People keep telling me that reading my books is like eating Fritos. You can't read just one.
Oh, that's great. What a great compliment to get from somebody.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Now, the book Downfall is out right now. Is this the final book in this series, or do you have others that are on the way for this series?
I'm not tired of any of my characters. This is not the final book in the series. There are some resolutions to ongoing issues in this book, but that doesn't mean it's the last book in the Joanna Brady series, unless I die. Of course, if I die, then all bets are off.
Well, we want to see where you're going with these characters, so make sure you get well. I know you're a little under the weather today, but you're going to be just fine.
As a reader of mysteries, I've always been put off by lone wolf characters who can devote all their attention to a single case, and they don't have any responsibilities outside the case. Joanna is a woman with a daughter going off to college, a son going off to kindergarten. She is pregnant with her third child. She's running for re-election as sheriff. Her parents have just died, and she's planning their funerals. And, oh, by the way, the department has a double homicide to solve. She's busy.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. And having all of those things going on is part of what I think makes her an interesting character.
Again, the book is called Downfall. It's out right now. We're visiting right now with ja-jance. She's a New York Times bestselling author. Now, how long have you been writing? Is this something that you've wanted to do since you were just a child, or how long have you been interested in this?
I decided I wanted to be a writer in second grade. When my second grade teachers, in her room, there was a collection of books, and if you finished your work early, you could go over to those bookshelves and take a book back to your desk. And it was among those books where I encountered the Wizard of Oz books. And I wasn't so fascinated by the wizard as I was by Frank Baum. The wizard hides behind the curtain, but Frank Baum was hiding behind the words, and I kept noticing him. And as soon as I realized that a person put those words on paper, that's what I wanted to be, and that's what I wanted to do. When I arrived at the University of Arizona, I signed up to be an English major because I wanted to be a writer. But in 1964, when it was time for upper division courses, the creative writing professor wouldn't let me into his class because I was a girl.
Oh.
So I became a teacher, and then I became a librarian. But I always wanted to be a writer, and finally I started writing in the middle of March of 1982. This is my 54th book. And do you know, my first hardback was a book called Hour of the Hunter, in which the crazed killer turns out to be a former professor of creative writing from the University of Arizona.
I love it.
To make writers mad.
That is so awesome. Again, visiting right now with ja-jance. How does it feel to see your books sell as absolutely fabulously as they do, and to know that right now you could be inspiring some young child that is wanting to be a writer when they grow up?
When I bought my first computer in 1983, the guy who sold it to me and installed my programs fixed it so that every morning when I booted up, these are the words that flashed across the screen. A writer is someone who has written today. And when I encounter young people who are interested in being writers, I talk to them about having decided to be a writer when I was in second grade. And if I autograph a book or a bookmark for them, I put those words in the inscription.
That is just awesome. What a cool thing to do. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today. It's been a whole lot of fun visiting.
Okay, thank you so much.
Again, our guest today, New York Times best-selling author ja-jance, and her new book, Downfall, is available right now. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Jerry Rice became the NFL all-time touchdown leader in 1994. There you go.
All right.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Diarrhea was alleviated by medicine dubbed liquid cork by U.S. troops in Vietnam. So they had something called liquid cork.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get some of that.
Why? You have diarrhea?
No, not right now. But next time I do, it would come in handy. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Bird experts recommend your bird bath have 2.5 inches of water. That's the proper depth, 2.5
right.
inches. So there you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Exxon Valdez oil spill killed an estimated 144 bald eagles.
Oh.
Wouldn't think of that. That's really sad. And our final fun, that was not a fun fact, was it?
No.
But this one is. Your final fun fact for today, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The more common term for herpes zoster is shingles. So if you ever have shingles, just think you could be telling people, instead of saying, oh, I got shingles,
herpes.
I have herpes zoster. Yeah, why don't you sit on the other
Shingles
side?
is a little better.
You sit over there. Stay way away from me. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We are cruising through the month of September. I cannot believe how fast this month has gone. I'm not kidding. It seems like it was June just the other day, doesn't it?
It does.
And now it's September 23rd. What the what? Well, a survey by Britain's Warwick University of people in 80 countries confirmed the long suspected myth that turns out to be true. Middle age is depressing.
Okay.
So do you believe that middle age is depressing?
I think that as you get older, you realize that life can just in general be depressing, which is what makes middle age depressing. Because you're just like, holy cow, people are crazy, people are mean, people are angry.
Listen to this. Researchers say it's remarkably common throughout the entire world, in all 80 countries they talk to, that people follow a U-shaped graph of happiness. It starts out when you're just a kid. You're happy. And then it drops to the lowest point in your 40s. Hey, that's where we are.
Yeah.
When people are most likely to get depressed. Then it continues to rise into your 70s, and then you're as happy as you are when you were 20. He said, the researchers in charge of this said that this happens to both men and to women and to married people and to single people and to parents and to people with no kids, and nobody knows why. There were only 8 developing nations where reaching 40 didn't depress people. In every other of the 80 countries, so 72 other countries, when you hit 40, that's when you were like the most depressed. I'm actually pretty darn happy. I wouldn't say that I'm depressed to be 40. I don't mind being 40.
I don't think it has anything to do with it's because you're 40. I think it has everything to do with
all the responsibilities.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to be a kid again.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when you didn't have all the bills and all the stuff and all these things, and now all of a sudden you have all those, and then as you get older, a lot of that stuff goes away. You're like, oh, the mortgage is paid off now, and I don't care what that guy thinks about me anymore. I don't work with him anymore. And
Yeah.
so I suppose that makes a ton of sense.
Yep,
Not
you
just
bet.
here, but in 80 countries around the world. So thank you, by the way, for listening to us, because if you didn't listen, we wouldn't get to keep doing this, and then we would be depressed. So thank you.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
If you want to see more clearly when you eat, now you can with chopstick eyeglasses.
What?
Yeah, a German company has invented a pair of glasses that come apart to double as chopsticks. Now, this was a German...
Oh, that is the most ridiculous thing.
It was a German company. The sushi specs have detachable arms that can be used to eat traditional Japanese food. Those who are not adept to using chopsticks can have forks attached as an alternative. Ralph Some dude from Germany designed the glasses and said he came up with the idea after noticing that eating on the go has become increasingly popular. Unfortunately, once the arms have been removed, the glasses cannot be worn until the chopsticks have been reattached. So
then you can't see. If you need glasses, you can't see while you're eating.
Apparently, if you need glasses, then I'm not sure why you would do this.
It's ridiculous. Just carry a pair of chopsticks with you.
I don't want to say it's a dumb idea, but it's a dumb idea. Now, here's an idea, Mr. German Ralph guy. Maybe you have glasses that have like a little hole in the side that you can slide the chopsticks into. So now you still wear your glasses, but you could like carry your chopsticks inside your glasses if this was really a need.
I didn't know the Germans had a huge need for chopsticks on the go 24/7.
I didn't know that there was a demand. Every place I've ever gone where there are chopsticks needed, they have a pile of them for free.
Right.
Why am I carrying mine along?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
How big of an argument do you think you could possibly get into because of a Coke?
Oh, I think, depending on the situation, I think you could get into a very big argument.
Not even the Coke so much as the container the Coke was in. Two women from Maryland are fighting over who is the legal owner of a $10,000 prize found under the Coca-Cola cap.
Ah, see? There we go.
Michelle Mercado says Lori Mott offered the can of Coke to her during a visit to her home. When Mercado popped the top, hey, I just won $10,000 in a contest sponsored by Coca-Cola. Mott took the can and said, no, that's mine. I bought that. Since she bought the drink, she thought she got it. Since she was offered the drink, she thinks she gets it. Who gets it? Well, I bet the biggest winner in this is going to be an attorney in the middle.
Yeah.
But I guess when it's all said and done, maybe they should have that spelled out clearly, that it's the purchaser of the drink, or it's the, if you offer it to somebody, it's the one that's, I don't know. That is a very blurry area right now. So once this is all done,
why don't they
we'll
just
know.
Share it and call it good?
Share a Coke? Are you kidding me? Oh, wait, no, you get to drink the Coke. Share the prize. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, obviously, they both should have access to the money because the one lady did give it to her, but she purchased it. So it wouldn't have been given to her if she hadn't purchased it in the first place. So they should just split it and call it good.
And still be friends.
Yes.
Because now they probably hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
All because
It's not,
of
they're not going to be
stinking
friends
can.
anymore.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com. Got a couple of great stories to wrap things up with here today. Well, we're not done yet. We got more, but I got two good stories. This almost became our good news story.
Okay.
But I have a really good news story. But I was just fascinated with this. There is a possible link between air pollution and Alzheimer's disease, according to some scientists. Now, the reason I think this is good news, my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I know what a terrible thing that is to live with.
It's awful to watch.
And I have another grandmother right now that is in the early stages of this, but it's really sad now. And here's the sad part: is we have no clue what causes it. I mean, no clue. Well, these scientists think they have a clue, Heidi. A team conducted detailed studies of brain tissues in a joint British-Mexican project. Now, how often do you have England and Mexico working together on things?
Right.
You don't hear about that often, but they did. They examined the brain tissue of 37 individuals who had either lived in Manchester, England, or Mexico City. Both are hot spots of air pollution. They used microscopic and spectroscopic analysis, and the scientists found tiny magnetic particles from air pollution lodged in the brains. The materials have long been associated with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. I've got a link to the full story so you can read it all and get all the details.
I don't know that I buy that.
Well, here's the thing. It does make sense, because then if they can look back and say, where do we have bigger or more cases of this? And if it's in areas where there's more air pollution.
Right, but what about the cases in the areas where there is no air pollution?
Well, sometimes it could be people who work in positions where they're around air pollution, because even though it's not that whole area, but if they work in a place where there's more pollution and they're breathing that in or getting it, like my grandmother that had Alzheimer's, she lived on a farm around a lot of farm machinery, so it could certainly be that. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I'm really glad that at least they kind of have an idea of what might be going on, because here's the thing. Until you know what's causing it, you cannot stop it.
Right.
So fascinating stuff, and I've got the full story. And we do have some good news coming your way at the end of the program. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is some good news. The Purpose Hotel. I think we talked about this like a year ago or whenever it was when they started working on this, but they have exceeded their initial goal. Their initial goal of $347,000, and it was met in less than 48 hours. The project then relaunched on September 12th, and nearly 2,000 people joined in backing the crowd-sourced effort. Now, the initial steps are allow the Purpose Hotel team to take steps in developing the initial design and financing of the building. According to planners, every aspect of the global chain will directly contribute to those in need throughout strategic sourcing and procurement. They say just staying at this hotel is going to help people all around the world. So they have this thing called the Purpose Hotel, and there's people saying, hey, when you stay here, the money that's made from this go to help people who don't have a place to stay. So it's a cool idea. It's a really cool idea. So this is a whole concept of others helping others, helping others, helping others. And they want this to kind of just keep growing and keep expanding.
Yeah, that's nice.
To the point where, hopefully, eventually, everybody would have a place. So
there you go.
The entire story I've got a link to on our page on Facebook, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And I don't mean to, promote that so dang much, but it's just a way for people to read the stories that we talk about. And if you're not on Facebook, I talk to guys like, I'm not on Facebook. You're always talking about that. Well, there's a lot of people that are on there. So even if you're not on there, there's a lot of people are. And this is just a way for you to go and check it out if you want to. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.